Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending where you're joining us from. Welcome to System and Structure Saturday. This is where we'll be able to talk about structure on businesses. Now you'll be able to structure your business, how you'll be able to structure your life so that your business could actually go in the right way that is meant to go to. And today we have an amazing topic to be discussing about, a kind of topic we can never neglect when it has to do with businesses, and which is time management. And I believe that anybody who could manage time effectively will also have the ability to manage their life, their business effectively. So, on today's topic or today's episode, I am not coming alone. I'm coming with my amazing friend, Dafe, who has actually been a wonderful friend since we've been able to connect. And we discussed that, okay, why don't we talk about time management? And it's going to be an amazing moment with you and I today. Good to see you, my brother. How are you doing this evening, Dafe?
Good to see you, my brother Toby. Great to be here and great to be able to be sharing the stage talking about this very overlooked topic, time management. Everybody, it's easy to say, oh, I'm busy, I didn't have the time. But today we are going to we're going to shake the table, and we help most of us discover that we just don't know how to manage our time. So yeah.
Basically, we just don't know how to manage our time, because if we do, we will be able to do so many things. And I'm going to start on a very, very good note. Um, there is something I really want us to talk about today. You see, there is this amazing young guy that I read his book from India. Do you get? And he talks about the psychology of laziness. Are you there with me?
Yeah, we're together.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Are you
Hello?
referring to me or our audience? I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
So he talks about the psychology of laziness, and when we actually spoke about what is it called? When we talk about the time, he made me to understand in his show. I mean, in the book, I learned a whole lot of things in his book, whereby when we are talking about time, a lot of us think we are managing time or we manage time, but basically we are not managing time, we are wasting it up. So he did some analysis, he did calculation that when we already spend 8 hours to for our work, we spend 2 hours to eat, to take our bath, we probably spend 7 hours to sleep and thereabout. If we calculate all of those time, we will still have over 3,000 hours left in every year. We will still have over 3,000 hours left every year. It simply means that if you actually track our time, we track the way we spend our time, we track the hour we spend on conversations, we track the time that is being useful to us, then we could be able to get the best out of life if we can be able to track our time more effectively, right? That is what I just want to look at. Like, by the time we spend 3,000 hours go, where does this 3,000 plus hours, where does it go to on a yearly basis? Why does it go where it goes to? Where is the problem coming from? And I really want us to achieve this. I want us to talk about it this evening. That what is time management? How do we manage our time? How is it important? Why should we manage our time? I want us to have a very, very good conversation based on this today. So back to you, bro. Like, what can you say when we talk about time management? Do you get and get it off somewhere today?
Okay, brother. Time is a word that's thrown around. as someone that works, whether you work remotely, whether you work in a company, whether you're a client, whether you own a company, a CEO, time is something that everything you do is built around. So you have time for start of your day, you have time for tasks. Every freelancer knows what it means to have a deadline. All that is constrained into time. You know what it means to have a deadline. That is the time for submission of your work. You know what it means to have a time frame. Let's say you can say this meeting is for 4 hours, so that's a time frame. So time is the nerve center of everything, and it's often thrown around, but it's often overlooked. It's often overlooked in the sense that we have it so much, and we it has now become it is in the background. So what I define time as is that I define time as a concept created by humans to help them to be able to manage activities. Um, this concept has now bettered tradition that has now been passed down from generation to generation, from sector to sector. Now, in the space of work, whether it's remote work or freelance work, you talk about time. When the banking structure started, they had the time for opening, they had the time for closing. When the engineering sector came, they had the time for closing, they had the time for opening and time for closing. And then they called it globally now it's called 9 to 5. That's not every company opens by 9 and closes by 5, but that's now the constraint. Now that is what time is. It's a concept created by us to be able to manage our activities. So if time gets ahead of you, you have poor time management, right? So let me bring it home to freelancer remote workers. There are a lot of remote workers struggle with time management because the first thing that the remote workers that work for companies that hire remote workers, that they clock in at certain time, they clock out. People that work virtual assistants, for example, I know those people that work virtual assistants that have to log in hours daily. Most of them complain about how hard it is to deal with. Some of them they start without showering. Then when they close, when they're done, they're tired, and the rest of the day it's almost useless because they cannot do anything. They're drained from all that time spent on the system. Now that is a flaw. Now probably you are able to clock in as your time you're supposed to clock in. You're able to clock out. However, you should have a thing where you know when you should clock in. You should wake up and be ready before the time of your resumption. That helps your brain accept things properly, right? So it's very huge for remote workers where because they feel like hey, nobody's seeing me, I'm in my house. I can just show up as I am or show up anyhow I like. It's a flaw that a lot of people have, right? So I'm going to mention three flaws that affect time management. Three demerits, three loopholes in time management. First of all, is overestimating how much time you have, or overestimation of time. So I'm going to just say that, and me and my brother, so we converse, and then I'll move on to how to manage your time, regardless of having no time. So managing your time with no time, because you know why I say that because a lot of people say, I don't have time. There's no time. We all say that, but we all have the same 24 hours. And we have people in the same space that are doing amazing things with the same 24 hours that we say we don't have time. Oh, I don't have time to learn this course. Oh, I don't have time to build on this platform. Oh, I don't have time to show up here. Oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. And people with less time than you, in quotes, with less time than you, are doing amazing things, and you're wondering how did they do it? If you have the money to delegate, please delegate. Okay, so you can get more done without getting more done. Okay, so let me talk about the first flaw of time management is think overestimating how much time we have. As a freelancer or as a remote worker, even people who work that work in offices, a lot of people we get tasks from people that are ahead of us, and we always overestimate how much time we have. One real world example of this that everybody can relate with are tailors. Right? Not all of them are that way, but we all know that tailors will say, "Don't worry, the clothes will be ready," and it is 2 days or a day to when the client is coming to pick up the clothes, and they start trying to get it ready. Now, making clothes is not easy, right? It's not easy, but it doesn't take more than 8 hours to make one outfit. And that's the truth. I used to be a fashion designer. I used to make clothes. It doesn't take more than 8 hours to make one outfit because if you do the cutting, except it's like a really dramatic outfit, but a basic outfit, you cut, you iron, and you piece together. But as an outsider, they make you feel like, oh, it's just so much. I'm doing these clothes for 2 weeks. Nobody makes one outfit for 2 weeks, except they're just lazy and they have poor time management. So this is common with tailors because they overestimate how much time they have left. That is one of the killers of your time. Thinking you have time. That's the first killer of your time is I have time. I have time. Oh, I would write that copy later. I would I would make that call tomorrow. I would. Why don't you do it? What are you? And the funniest thing is that you might the thing that's making you want to do it is something that will entertain you, and maybe you're watching film. Let me just finish this film, or let me just play this game, or let me just go to this party, or overestimating how much time you have left. So what now happens is during the deadline, when you're close to the deadline, you now put yourself under a tight corner. You're under pressure, and then you're forced to deliver. Now, most people will say, hey, it's when I'm under pressure I deliver my best. But I promise you, there's nothing like when you have finished what you're supposed to do before you're supposed to deliver it to whoever needs it, to the client or whoever it is you're delivering to. It gives you time to review, to check out what have I not done, what have I done, what have I missed, what have I not missed. It gives you enough time. And you cannot tell me that you, the person that had enough time to double check a work, will deliver less than somebody that just submitted it right on time, or even the client is knocking at the door. Where's my stuff? Where have you sent the document? Have you sent the video? Have you gotten the cloth ready? If you get your cloth, your outfit for your tailor the night before your wedding, or the morning of your wedding, let's say the night before your wedding, and there's an issue with the suit, how are you sure that the issue will be fixed before the wedding morning? But if you get the outfit 2 weeks before the wedding, even if the outfit becomes too small or you have to make a new one, you have 2 weeks to do that. There's enough time. So overestimating how much time you have left always makes you lose your time. That's one flaw. The second flaw is poor time allotting. Like people don't know how to allot time to tasks. There's the oh I have time. There's the estimating how much time it takes to do this particular thing. I'm a copywriter. I'm a content writer. I write copy books, all types of content. And one thing I learned first was that it took me 20 minutes to write 500 words. Without AI, not before AI. So I would know that, okay, and I know that I now knew that the first page of your Microsoft Word document is on average gives you 400 to 500 words. Depends on your font size, depends on your spacing and your paragraphing. On average, you can check it out. It gives you 400 to 500 words. So that now knows me that okay, it takes me 20 uninterrupted minutes for one page for 500 words or 450 words, 450 to 500 words. So it now it taught me how much time it takes me to write 1,000 words, 2,000 words. So if I have a task, I know how much time it will take me. I know how much time it takes me to do research. Now that helps me a lot time. So when you have conversations with the client, when you have a conversations with the client and the client asks you, okay, when am I going to get this delivered? You 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 know exactly what to say. If it's going to take you 12 hours, you're going to say, okay, you can get it in 13 hours or 24 hours. Of course, you need a day. It gets you ready. But a lot of people like again, I'm sorry I'm getting back to tailors. A lot of tailors do this. They underestimate how much time it will take to deliver the work given to them. So they know that in a day I can make 2 outfits or 3 outfits if I've had the fabrics, um if I've cut the fabrics. Now they know that this, so they underestimate the fact that it takes 8 hours or 6 hours to piece one outfit together and iron and that. So in the morning of that day, of the delivery day. Some of them now want to make 4 outfits for the 4 different clients that are coming to collect it that day. And they don't factor in eating time, they don't factor in getting tired, they don't factor in having to urinate or using the restroom, they don't factor in emergencies, um, um, uh, miscellaneous things that you don't expect to happen. They don't factor in all of those, so that they now allot the time wrongly. That is one. So the first one is uh, overestimating how much time you have left. Second one is underestimating time needed to perform tasks. So a lot of people don't. I beg. A lot of freelancers are guilty of that. I've worked with freelancers. That I always see them underestimating how much time it would take. You got people say, okay, you need something. They'll tell you they can do it. They'll say, okay, I need something by this time, by 6 p.m. tomorrow. And they tell you it'll be ready. It'll be ready by then. And maybe it will take them before they will finish it. It's 9 p.m. And then by 6 p.m. you're texting them. They're like, hey, I'm coming. I'm on it. I'll send it soon. And they genuinely believe that they will send it soon. But the thing about work is when you're engulfed in work, time goes away. That's why a lot of people find it hard to allot hours to tasks. Time goes the minute you start working, time goes away from you. So you should be able to. I literally, when how I manage my time, I literally how I knew that it took me this amount of time to to finish 500 words. I literally had to look at the clock, you know, to know when I'm starting. So if I'm starting by 6 p.m. and by 6:25, I've done 1 page of MS Word. I know, okay. And then of course MS Word tells you the word count in real time. I'm like, okay, so it takes me this. I did it 3, 4 times and I realized this is how long it takes me to get this done. And so it makes me able to estimate how long it will take me to write 100,000 words. Now again, factoring in tired time, eating time, and other unexpected occurrences. Okay. So the third problem with time management, well, a very common problem that I've noticed, is ignoring time at all. Like you are disorganized. There's the overestimating how much time you have left. There's the uh uh lack of awareness of time allotted. Then there's just disorganizing, like ignoring time. You just don't think that if somebody asks you, it's so that there are people that are genuinely good at what they do. I've worked with a guy that is so good at what he does. Like, see, he's probably one of the best I've seen. But his concept of time, you could ask him to deliver it on Monday, he will send it on Thursday, and he will ghost you. That's because he doesn't, he doesn't grasp the concept of time. He just believes that I will do the work. A lot of people that they are, in fact, that people that are way behind where like they're way behind from where they should be today because they don't grasp the concept of time. They don't even acknowledge time. You know, so when you want to ask them how long will it take you, they just say any number. They might say a month. Something that might take them 2 weeks. They might say a month. And sometimes people that want to work with you people that want to work with you, a lot of the time, clients want to ask you timeline. Two things. Your clients ask you two things: your budget, the budget, and timeline. That's turnaround time. They always ask you how long will it take, to deliver. And a lot of people just say, when do you need it? A client that asks you turnaround time is a blessing. That's a gift because some clients will just say, I need it tomorrow, and that's it might not work for you, but so the clients that will tell you how long will it take you to get ready. So if you're not aware, you have not grasped the concept of time, and the client asks you what's your turnaround time, and you say 2 months, and that client is used to getting that kind of work in 2 weeks. You saying 2 months is because maybe you don't have the concept of time. The client might tell you, I'll get back to you, and then they vanish because they are like, it's not possible that it take you 2 months to this. Also, you might say, in 2 days I'll send it over to you. I will send it over to you. I'll send it over. Sorry, I got a message. I'll send it over to you. That would that would that would make the client doubt that it's possible to get something that he usually gets. Maybe he has worked with 50 freelancers and they take about 2 to 3 weeks to deliver. You're telling him 2 days, he's not going to believe you. I've had a client that he asked me when I'm supposed to deliver a work, and I told him I'll get it delivered in 24 hours. He said it's not possible to get that quality of work in that time frame. Now, I had a tool, not AI, I had a tool that helps me. I had a template, so I would just get it done and and edit it to fit into what he wants. But he didn't know that. So he didn't factor in all that time, and I had already factored that. I already had a template for this particular research and this particular work. I just have to fit his what he needs his niche into my templates and then make it original. But he didn't know that, and he didn't believe me, and he left. That's because he knows the average time. So in his head, I don't understand the concept of time. How would I say I will do this in 4 hours? Okay, so that's the three. Those are the three pros of time management. The three issues with time management, and then I'm going to talk about how to manage your time, the best ways to manage your time. So I don't know if Mr. Toby is online. If you can just chip in something before I go into the effective ways of managing your time.
Ramon, the connection was actually messing up with me here. But, based on the things that I'm able to really, really figure out, I'm just going to pick it up from where you said, like, failing to assign task realistic slots in your schedule. We need to understand one thing basically, that treating time the way you wish is just as if you are treating your life the way it pleases you. When you don't treat your time effectively, it means you're just treating your life the way it pleases you. So if you're able to treat time effectively, it means you care about your life. You care about whatsoever thing is going on with you. You care about who you are. You care about what you want to achieve. You care about whatsoever thing you really want to be, right? Please, if wherever you're joining us from, it would be very, very appreciated if you can drop in the comments where you're joining us from and one or two things you've been able to pick so far, from the time management, and this is System and Structure Saturday. So you must understand that time is more expensive than any other thing. It is more expensive than any other thing. Time is what is being given to humans to be able to maximize their life. Not even time, to maximize their life, to be able to use their life more effectively. To get more effectively. I just want to be sure you can hear me because I don't know what's going on this evening with my connection. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, so I can hear you.
Okay, great. Very, very important that you treat the outcome of your life, the outcome you have actually designed in your head. It depends on what you can see in your life. You have to design an outcome for your life. So that outcome you design for your life, it will be the one that depends on how you spend your time. It will tell you how you're meant to spend your time per day, per time, per season, per moment, anywhere you are. So for you to be able to treat your time effectively, for you to be able to get the best out of your time, then you must be able to have a clear definition of what you want to get out of life. If you don't have a clear definition of it, there is no how you can be able to get the best. How do I manage my own time? When I wake up in the morning, I make every hour count. That's one of the things I've done so far. And since the time I've read this book, The Psychology of Laziness, I've been more productive. In fact, I read it around September, October last year, and I can tell you from October to September till this time, I've read book more than I've read in my entire life because I got to realize that there is time. It's just like the way you are allotting your time is what you don't understand. You cannot just be able to divine that this is what your time is going to. You must be able to divine that this is what your time is going to. Right? I like to yield the mic back to our guest because this is his moment. This is the guest we brought today, and it has to just be about what he has prepared for us to be able to learn about time management. And I really want to understand, like, why is time management more important? Why is it important even for businesses? Why is it important for businesses? Because when we talk about management, we only look at it as individual, uh, things. But when we have to apply into business, how does time management actually make business to thrive and to be do more better? Over to you, please.
Okay. So there, it's easy to give you a list of how you to manage your time, but I will give you two things that gives birth to any lists that I could come up with. And these are practical things these two things are practical things that I have tried over time that has helped over time that I've tried over time that has helped me, stay ahead, even if I'm behind. So the first one is have clear goals. Have clear goals when you wake up, when you set out to do something, when you start anything, have clear goals. Ask yourself, there's something that's very common on LinkedIn. They say, what's your why? Ask yourself, why am I doing this? When you have that, it gives you clarity. And clarity tells you what you need done. What you need done determines how much time you need to do it. So it all starts from having clear goals. Like I said, I could make it a list, but this is just point one. Have clear goals. Having clear goals will give you clarity. Clarity tells you what you need done. What you need done determines how much time you have to do it. So when you know that, let's say, for example, you know that you want to become a virtual assistant. That's a clear goal. So you now know, okay, what do I need to become a good virtual assistant? That's clarity of direction. So that clarity tells you all the things that you need to do. So when you say, okay, you need to learn a virtual assistant course, you have to take a virtual assistant course. Maybe the course is 10 hours or the course is 3 months. That gives you a timeline. 3 months. So maybe after the course, there's a way you get clients and they give you a timeline that if you apply this stuff in this course, not half big the proper course, you apply the task in this course, the average you do research, even if the course is not live or they don't tell you timeline to get clients, you do research on the average time it takes a virtual assistant to get a job. So you might see 3 to 6 months. That's it, another time, right? Then that gives you clarity. You now know what to do. You now know that okay, you have 3 months. You now know that every session is 2 hours. That's clarity. Same thing with like working. If, for example, you are supposed to write an ebook for someone, for example, you know the size of the ebook. For someone like me that I said, okay, it takes me 20 minutes to write 500 words. So I know that in 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 40 minutes I've done 1,000 words. In an hour I've done 1,500 words. So I know that in maybe 3 hours I've done 3,000 words. So if I'm supposed to do 3 hours, a 3 hour ebook, a short ebook, I know that that's a 3 hour write. So I know that in factoring the time I write, research time, and all that, I should need about 6 hours. So if a client is giving me a job like that, is asking how long will it take you to deliver this ebook? I will tell that client 24 hours. Because okay, you give me today. If the client is giving me in the morning, I know that okay, I have the rest of the day to do research. I can write it tomorrow morning. I'll start writing half today, write the other half. Because you need breaks in between. You can't just say I'll get to you by evening. It's fine if you're just starting out and you want to show, but it's not something you can keep up with. You don't want people to expect something from you that you cannot consistently deliver. So it's better to say, okay, give me tomorrow from today to tomorrow, so that day you have time to breathe, you have time to relax, and then research, write a bit, take breaks. It allows your brain function better. It allows your brain produce better than trying to just churn out stuff, churn out stuff. Then the next day you deliver it, and the client is appreciative of it. Now, some people take advantage. Like I said, people now say, "Oh, I have time." 24 hours, and for something that you knew that it takes you like 6 hours to do. So you're like, hey, you have 18 hours free time. You don't have 18 hours free time. You do not have it. As long as the job is in you, you don't have free time. You don't have free time. So when you have a goal, that's knowing what you want to do. It gives you clarity. It tells you what you need done. What you need done determines how much time you have. Okay. So the second point is to have is to be able to help you with effective time management. Have personal deadlines. It keeps you on your feet. So this is again is something I tried. In fact, I still do it. I will always do it. Have when a client, you know how long that you have studied time allotment, you've studied, time management, you already know how long it will take you to. You have done maybe a guru in your niche, your industry. It takes you, you know how long it takes you to do your work. Have time, your personal deadline. So let me explain this to you how it is in practice. Now, if it takes me a week, if it takes me 5 days to write to do a job, to do certain jobs that normally the client is expecting it in like 3 weeks, I will tell the client 2 weeks. It takes me 5 days. Like it takes me 5 days. That's Monday to Friday. I'm telling the client 2 weeks. The client usually expects that kind of work in 3 weeks, but I'm faster. I have a system that made me faster, right? So that 2 weeks is the deadline I'm giving to the client. Why I'm giving the client that 2 weeks is because uh it puts me ahead. It makes me it's something I have of an advantage because I know it will take me I know the average time frame to deliver that kind of work is is 3 weeks. So me telling the client to submit them, okay, that's okay. That's it's faster than usual. So they appreciate that. Then I now give myself 1 week. That's my personal deadline. So my own deadline is 7 days in my head. For the as far as the client is concerned, is expecting his work in 2 weeks. So it's not going to disturb me for another 10 days. Maybe on the 7 or the 8 or the 10, you might remember, oh, hello, how's the work going? Some of them want daily updates, some you just wait till like a week till they text you. Regardless, the client knows that you're supposed to deliver 14 days after your conversation and your onboarding. Now that's the thing. Then I give myself 7 days, then I deliver in that 5 days. So what that does for me, what that does for you, let me interchange you. What that does for me and for you is it gives me enough time to work without pressure from the client because in the client's mind it's not it's in 2 weeks. So before they will start disturbing me, I might have been done with the work. Two, it saves you inconsistencies in briefing because there are some clients that will give you work and maybe the work takes a month, or you tell them it takes a month. Before that 1 month we end, they have added the work. I don't know if you know what I mean. They've added add this one, add that one, add this one. It's fine, it's great. Some of compliance are not organized, but I always say no matter how disorganized the client is, they will always be schooled by an organized freelancer or organized service provider. So in the space that the client might want to give you part your what you're supposed to do with tasks. The fact that before 10 days means that I promised to deliver I promised myself to deliver in 7 days. Now what happens in that window is in case in that period of my 7 days something comes up, I cannot deliver in 5 days. In that 5 days, I can deliver in 6 days, or I can deliver exactly the 7 day that I gave myself. Right? So the client, either way, the client is surprised, pleasantly surprised. And again, if they might want to add uh, certain things, they might apologize and say, "Oh, I didn't tell you this." In fact, it makes you earn more money because the client might feel like, "Oh, if the client like has enough money and they care enough about it, they might feel like, oh, he's already done the work. Let me not. Okay, please, I'll add to your pay. just do this and do this and do that. They are going to impress. So what that does for you is that you have time even though you don't have time. So in that space of 2 weeks that you give, even if you cannot meet your 7 days, you have another 7 days because the work is you already know that so your delivery time is 5 days. You now have another 7 days. Before then, except you are not a serious person or a very serious emergency happen because most emergencies or hot period last 2 3 days and they blow over, except it's been something serious, they blow over. So even if you have 3 days where you don't work, you will still deliver on time. So what that has helped me do is that I could be attending to 6 to 7 clients. I could be attending to 6 to 7 clients. Sorry, forgive me. Let me reply. I could attend to six to our brother is having network issues. I think it's just a general thing. I could attend to 6 to 7 clients because I'm giving all of them very far deadlines. I'm giving myself a close deadline. Giving myself a close deadline. It makes me always busy, but I'm always free. So you get in the situation where you're always at work, but which of overwhelmed and when you're tired, you can really take a break. You can just say today I'm not working. Your normal work day, you can just say, let me reboot. And none of your clients are breathing down your neck because while you're giving them time ahead and you're giving yourself a tighter deadline, which like the tight deadline itself gives you like extra days because you know that if I'm telling this client in 2 weeks and I can do it in 5 days, I'm giving myself 7 days to do it. If by the you've done the first 3 days and you get overwhelmed, you have 2 extra days to rest and say, "Abeg, let me rest. Let me not go and kill myself." Okay, so it is those two things will save you hours, help you with time management. So I'm going to add another thing in here. Time management is a skill. If you underestimate it, it will win you, and if it wins you, it sets you back. For every day you say I will do it tomorrow, you are gathering up weeks that become years. So you stay behind. You think I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it next month. I'll do it next year. Yeah, getting older, time is going. So it's a skill. I remember there was a time that I didn't sleep in the night because of work. So when I started working, I would always work at night because it was quiet. So I did that for years, and it got to a point where I wasn't working at night anymore. So I just had insomnia. I had insomnia before then. It got worse because of the time working. So I struggled with it. I had to take the conscious decision to say, okay, I would wake up this time, regardless of when I sleep. So when I was sleep by 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., I set an alarm. You know the thing about sleep like this, when you set an alarm and it rings, you turn it off by yourself. So what I did is I would put two of my devices, one at the top of my wardrobe, the second one maybe at the corridor, and I open my room door. So when it rings, you know when you wake up to go and turn off an alarm, that movement wakes your body up. So when it the first one rings, you know the actual climbing up your wardrobe to turn off the noise. It's a whole activity that wake you up. So I would climb up, turn off my alarms, then climb down. Then go to I would turn it off. I will snooze it, saying let me sleep small. Then go to the corridor. So that's two movements. That it will take me about 2 minutes. That activity it starts waking your brain up. Then you go back to bed. Before you wake up again to do that thing, if you do it 3 times and you don't wake up, then you have a spiritual sleeping problem. That's what I did. And the first day, I zombied through everything because I didn't sleep well and I had to work. So I started my day. I think the first time I started my day by 6 5 p.m. I was done. I was happy. Like, hey, I'm done for the day. So it was hard for me. It was a hard 1 week for me. The second day was easier, but it was still hard. By the next week, I was waking up early. I would wake up early before 12. I would have done a bunch of things. So if you have that problem of time, it's not the way I'm saying it like, oh, time allotting, blah blah. Yes, it's easy to say. So to be realistic, if you don't have that habit before, you have to learn it, you have to cultivate it, just like everything you know. Most of the things you know, you learned it. You cultivated it. So this particular one, you have to still cultivate it and say, okay, this is how I'm supposed to do it. This is not how I'm supposed to do it. So if it takes you having four alarms, if it takes you having a friend that will call you in the morning, somebody that will call you and you cannot ignore that call. If it takes you having, being in a friend's house that wakes up early or a family member's house that wakes up early for a period of time before you go back to, by the time you go back to your own, if you stay with somebody that wakes up early for a week or 2 weeks, by the time you go back to your space, if you are sleeping and your alarm blares and you see the time and you are sleeping, you will feel kind of way, except again you're not serious. But if you have the intentional desire and effort, you put the effort to try and change the habits, the, the desire and the consciousness to know that okay, this is time I need to get up will help you move through it. Okay, so that is all for my time management. I would allow Toby to continue, so we wrap it up.
The network is not really aligned. Could you please give us your last share? Then we just round it up because of this connection before it eventually kicked me out finally.
Okay. So what I would say is time is a concept that was created, and none of us have it. Nobody has time. It was created to help us manage our activities, yes. But as as a phenomenon, nobody has it. You don't have time. Time was here before you came, right? You don't have it, so you can only manage it. That's why everybody has the same 24 hours. If anybody has time, maybe some of us will have 60 hours, some will have 80 hours. So because before you were born, time was here. Before after you leave, you die and go away, time will still be here. So you have to use it judiciously. Okay? It's like your surname or your father's name. It has been in your family for generations. So if you muddy it, if you spoil your father's name, somebody else in your lineage years to come will repair it. So somebody will make it a great name. You understand? So if you have to use it effectively. So it is important to understand that you don't have time. Nobody has time. The richest people in the world, they don't have time. So you have to manage it effectively. The 24 hours that you are allowed, let me know say you have to manage it effectively so you can do more. So by the time you reach a certain age, you've done what you're doing for a certain years, you can be able to say, I've done this for let's say I've done this for 10 years, this is what I've achieved, and this is what I've achieved. And your achievements will tally with the time you spend on that industry, that field, and that it's not like someone saying, no, I've been doing this for 20 years, and then there's nothing to show for it. Because probably the thing is that time where they're just procrastination and just waiting for things to fall on their laps. They're not going out there to say, oh, this is what I do, or this is what I do, this is what I don't do. Okay, so I would urge everyone right here on this call, this meeting, to to look at time very differently. It is not something to trifle with. If you trifle with it, it trifles with your future. So with that, I would round up and hopefully everybody that was present here are able to eventually make better use of their time, get more productivity, and get more results. Thank you for joining us. Everybody have a good night, and I hope the next week, this new week, incoming week, is better because you will start using your time better.